Sean Terry here, Flip2Freedom.com. I got a couple minutes. Wanted to share with you, just coming from the grocery store, and wanted to talk to you about 3 literally explosive, money-making, massive opportunities that we learned at the Billionaire Boardroom Mastermind in Dominican Republic down at Punta Cana. Stayed at the Sanctuary Resort down there, and it's amazing. It was one of the most amazing resorts down there. But essentially what happened is we went down there, Billionaire Boardroom, and we mastermind for a day, but then the rest of the masterminding took place in the pool at the swim-up bar in Punta Cana, if I'm saying that right, down in the Dominican Republic. The sanctuary right on the ocean is absolutely amazing. So I want to talk about 3 takeaways that were incredibly important. Now, so you get a reference point, Billionaire Boardroom is comprised of, there's about 30 or so people in that group that all do over $1 million in revenue, primarily wholesaling houses. So it's guys that do over $1 million in revenue wholesaling houses. You know, for an example, there's guys out of Dallas, Texas that do over 210 deals. Guys out of Washington, D.C. doing over 300 plus deals. You know, obviously myself is in there, Justin's in there, Kent's in there. And a lot of other key players that are doing mass amounts of business, wholesaling, primarily wholesaling. I'm not talking about fix and flipping houses. I'm talking about wholesaling houses where they tie up a property under contract and turn around and flip it. So I want to talk about the 3 huge, massive takeaways that came away from there, kind of share that with you, what my perspective is on it. And I've got a little amount of time, so I just I want to get into it like ASAP with you guys. So all right, so the first huge takeaway, and this is more advanced. Obviously, we're coming from Billionaire Boardroom, which is an advanced group in itself. But the first big takeaway is this, is that when you have a sales team, right? So I have sales guys that go out to appointments. They get properties under contract. They go on anywhere from 17 to 19 to 20 appointments a week. And as they go on those appointments, they're converting maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 contracts a week. So out of 20, there's 17, you know, 15 to 17, obviously some of the contracts cancel, 15 to 17 that they're not getting contracts on, right? So, so one of the big takeaways actually that came from the DC wholesalers, they're doing over 300 deals a year. What they do is they get on the phone with the seller, with the sales rep, prior to them leaving the house. So let's break this down for a second. So you got a sales guy going on an appointment with a seller. Their protocol is they cannot leave the house until they talk to the sales manager, or essentially me, or for an example, our disposition guy. So they have to talk to someone before they leave the house. Now, what happens is they're able to decipher and make sure that they can make the absolute best and highest offer. And when you get other eyeballs on the property, other eyeballs looking at the comps, other eyeballs looking at the properties that have been listed and for sale, if you get other eyeballs, and then you're able to talk to the seller and say, hey, listen, and try to find out what number they would take. We want to make sure we can make the highest and best offer. We don't want to leave anything on the table. We want to make sure we cover all grounds with that seller. And remember, the sales manager essentially, or you as the business owner, is doing that with their sales rep. It's incredibly important because now you're able to potentially bridge the gap. What if they're $5,000 off? What if they're $10,000 off? Just bringing someone else in the mix will make a massive impact on potentially getting that deal or not getting the deal. So with all the numbers that are coming in, for this group out of DC that is applying this particular method, they are closing anywhere from 10 to an additional 20%. So 30 to 60 deals annually just by this one method alone, having their sales rep. Now, I know this is more advanced. If you don't have a sales team right now, then obviously this wouldn't work. This is you going on an appointment. But what if you're a solopreneur and you're just doing everything yourself, you don't have a team of people, then I would make it a point where you could essentially leave the appointment, then follow up with them that next evening, follow up with them that day. So if you have an appointment at 11, you immediately follow up with them that evening to make sure that you cover all bases and relook at the comps again, and do that as an everyday practice. That'd be something you could do as a solopreneur. If you have a sales team, you make it your company policy that your sales rep cannot leave the appointment until they get you on the phone. They've got to get you on the phone. They've got to get you on the phone where you're actually enabled to talk to the seller and make the highest and best offer you possibly can to that seller, so you don't potentially lose that deal, right? You don't want to lose the deal. So you want to make that protocol with your sales team that they cannot leave the house until you actually talk to the seller and you can make them the absolute best offer on the table. So that's the first big takeaway, right? That's huge. That can increase your revenue in your business anywhere from 20 to 30% in your business with the same leads, the appointments, and doing everything exactly the same is getting on the phone and making sure that you're making the absolute best offer to that seller possible. Working with that seller. So that's number one. That's the first big takeaway. If you have a sales team, for the guys watching right now, if you have a sales team, you're going, that is gold. I can tell you that is absolutely gold. If you guys are watching this and you think about your sales team, what if you could get 1, 2, 3, 4 more deals a week? What if you get 2 more deals a week just by getting on the phone with the seller? And what the sales rep's going to do is say, listen, you know what, it's our company policy. I can't leave the house. I just want to make sure I made the absolute best offer we can. I want to make sure that I didn't miss anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my boss on the phone, and I want you to have you talk to just make sure to have him relook it, make sure I can make the best offer, and so I'm not leaving without a contract. So when you do that, you will secure extra deals. You will get extra deals under contract just by doing that with these sellers, which I think is an absolute phenomenal way to secure contracts. So that's the first one. Second one is this, and which was a big big takeaway for a lot of people that were in the group. A lot of people, even these guys doing millions of dollars in revenue, are not doing seller finance structure deals. Seller finance structure deals. So I gave an example at the Billionaire Boardroom of a deal that we recently closed last week. It was a deal that I personally signed. It got under contract. I actually was on Instagram, and I went live before the contract, before the appointment. I went live after the appointment, and I got the property under contract, and I broke down exactly what the situation was. So the bottom line is this, is that what is seller financing? It's called the down payment arbitrage. That's what we call it, down payment arbitrage. And what we're doing is we're arbitraging the down payment that we give to the seller and arbitraging the payment that the buyer is putting down themselves, right? So for an example, let me give you an example of this deal that I actually gave to them. I broke it down on the whiteboard and all the different numbers, but let me give you an idea here so you can get an understanding. So I met the seller. Seller went through a divorce. This was a newer house, fairly good condition. Needed maybe $10,000 carpet and paint to get the property up to a rentable, good condition of the property. So seller wanted out. Her 2 sons were living on the property, and they were literally just taking advantage of her, leaving the place a mess. And she's like, I got to get out of here and be done. She wanted to move in with her boyfriend, and she just wanted to get rid of the house and be done with it. So what happened was and here's the structure, and here's how the structure actually worked. She owed $279,000 on the property, $279,000. Payments on that property were roughly about $1,400. Rents in the area about $1,900. So there's a potential spread in the payments that she had to make to the bank, and the actual potential rents. Jeez. The sun's crazy. Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, so the bottom line is there's potential money there, right there, for a spread. The loan was it was a regular conventional loan, and what we're going to do is we're going to keep that loan in place. So the $279,000, she wanted $10,000. She needed $10,000 to move. What we did is we offered her $7,000 to move, $7,000, and she accepted, right? So when we're doing that, we got $279,000 loan and then $7,000 on top of that, to put as a down payment. Now, what was the property worth? Good question. Property is worth maybe $310,000 to $315,000, maybe. So, I mean, we're talking, we're all in price is essentially $287,000, right? $286,000. So there's not a lot of equity there, not a huge spread of equity there. So if you don't have a huge spread of equity, right, you think, hey, I'm not going to be able to sell this property to the market. There's not a huge spread of equity. What the heck do I do, right? Wrong. Because seller financing is so desirable to the market, to your buyers, to a retail buyer, right? It's so valuable. It's incredible. So what happens, I structure it, agreed to give her $7,000 at close, keep the $279,000 in place for 7 years. So we're wrapping that $279,000, we're keeping it in place for 7 years, and we're giving her $7,000 down, right? So we're giving her $7,000 down. So what is the total amount of cash needed to close the deal? Right? $7,000 plus closing cost. $7,000 plus closing cost, right? So that's all the cash, and I can buy that house for $7,000 up. Now, how do you arbitrage it? So what we did is we put it out to the market for $27,000 down, 27. Keep the $279,000 in place for the term of 7 years, right? So what's our spread on it? Our spread on it is $20,000. Now, we had an offer that came in for $25,000, $7,000, and we took it. And that is an $18,000 deal. So we made an $18,000 deal with a property that had, literally it was close at 90% of loan to value equity. Now, what made the deal work? What made the deal work was the $7,000 down. What made the deal work was the 7 years. What made the deal work is there was potential cash flow between the payments and the rent. So that is important to make sure to make those structures work. But think of how many deals that you have come in. Think how many appointments that you have that come in. My fault, not many appointments. Leads that come in where there is no. When you're trying to structure a deal, and there is no equity, or there's marginal equity, or there's 90% equity, and you cannot make a wholesale deal. Right? What do you do? How do you get that deal done? Well, you're not going to be able to get that deal done because there's no potential equity in that deal, right? So because there's no potential equity in the deal, you're going to have to pass on it because you don't know how to do the down payment arbitrage. Down payment arbitrage, we do anywhere from 6, 7, 8 deals like that a month, and where we leave the existing loan in place, give the seller a little down payment, leave the loan in place for anywhere. Once we do that, we can get that sucker, we can get it closed. All right. So now, once we get that done, now we can turn around and flip that property to a buyer and assign that contract for the spread of the down payment. In this example is $25,000. We turn around and flipped it for the difference, which was $18,000, and got that deal done, right? That's number one. So that's called the down payment arbitrage. You got to learn more about it. That is a huge, massive amount of deals you can do. So the guys doing 300 deals, they're going to be able to do another 100 deals, 150 deals on their books just by doing down payment arbitrage, not spending any more money on equity, not spending any more money on marketing. So that's number one. Number three, the three thing is, again, is a little bit more advanced. It's hiring rock stars, hiring guys that are already in sales. So I'll give you an example. I have been hiring people and developing them into sales guys. What happens is there's a longer gestation period learning how to understand real estate, then understand sales, then get good at sales, and then be able to close transactions and get deals done, right? That's number one. So there's a longer process to becoming good at what they do. Understanding and learning the sales process, they have to take a lot of education and learn and trial and error. But during that process, you're spending money on generating leads and booking appointments and getting deals and stuff like that. And what happens is it's a longer time frame. There's a lot more money invested to get it done. So what happened was recently I hired a guy that was the #1 Kirby salesman in the entire, all of Phoenix. This guy literally sells door to door, generating his own leads, getting leads from the company, 45 Kirby's a month. And Kirby is a high-end vacuum that you go into someone's house and you sell for $2,800. Now, that guy already knows sales. He already knows people. He already knows how to close. He already knows closing techniques. He already knows how to build rapport. He already knows how to overcome objections. Now he just needs to know real estate, and he just needs to know the pitch when it comes to real estate and the objections and overcome it. So all he needs now is to know just the actual product and the game, what we're playing here in real estate, which is a shorter gestation period, and you can get a bigger result quicker. And because you already have the sales element already dialed in. So the third big element, big takeaway, was hiring guys that are already rock stars in their field of selling. They already know how to sell. All they need to know now is how to get deals under contract when it comes to sellers. And that is the difference. So I highly recommend, when you're out hiring, you got to find rock stars that are already in the sales game, that are going out and to be able to do this. So the first one, #1, is do not let those sales reps leave the house until you talk to them, be able to talk to the seller, and give the absolute best offer. You'll pick up another 1 to 2, 3 contracts a week on your sales reps or going out on appointments. That's #1. #2 is the down payment arbitrage. You can add, you can 20, 30, 40% your business on the same leads, same marketing, same deals, right? Just by adding a seller financing element. Your buyers will love it. They'll fly off the shelf. We do a bunch of these deals. And what happens is what you're doing is leaving the existing loan in place, giving the seller a little bit of cash so they can move out, and then turning around and you are selling that the arbitrage between the down payment. We gave the seller 7 and we turn around and sold it for $25,000, $18,000 becomes the spread. The buyer loves it because they get a property with potential cash flow and they can offset any type of capital gains. And the seller loves it because they're able to get out of the deal so they don't have to fix up the property, go through showings, pay real estate commissions, closing costs and fees and stuff like that, which is a huge, massive benefit to the seller. #3, right, is what we just talked about was hiring rock stars, right? Hiring rock stars. You can find rock stars in your business. So those are the 3 big takeaways that I think can make a massive impact in your business, and I think will blow up your business. And I wanted to be able to share that with you. So